What's up, guys? In this video, I want to touch on a little subject, and I'm going to have to do a couple follow-up videos because I don't want to make this a 45-minute long video just on me talking. I mentioned in my update video that I had gotten out and did a little bit of shooting with new gun. Had to get it zeroed, function checked, and all that. And I did all that before I made a video about this and brought it up, because I wanted to make sure that it worked like I wanted it to, make sure it functioned, and all that good stuff. I don't want to say, hey, this is great, and then, having not put a single round through it or anything. But just to start off, I haven't done a lot of videos. I don't know if I've done any videos really specifically on weapons. And there's been a reason for that. I don't want to try to focus anybody on any one particular weapon, even though I've got my preferences, because there's a lot of good options out there. I like to try to stay more focused on whatever your weapon of choice is. Practice with it, train with it, learn how to use it, all that kind of good stuff. That's what I'm really focused on. Everybody's budgets are different. Everybody's experience and skill level is different. Training budgets and times are all different. It varies so much. And it's a pet peeve of mine when I see people doing videos and they're talking about the latest and greatest awesome gun and accessories and this, that, and the other. And it almost makes people, because I've seen it firsthand when I've watched other people watch the videos, feel like, well, man, I can't afford something like that, so I'm pretty much screwed. It puts a level of not like depression, but it's a depressing thing. They just feel like, well, crap, I'm screwed. Anyway, that's why I kind of don't like doing that. Mine is, hey, whatever, get the best you can afford, then get out and practice with it, train with it, do everything you need to do with it. So that all said, this is probably going to be the first video that I do actually on a specific gun. That's this one. Now this is a pistol. Okay, this is a AR-15 pistol that I put together, and I'll go through all the components that I use because I know that's always a big question. Believe it or not, that's actually part of the point of the video. Now, why an AR pistol? Well, I've got my ARs that are my primary go-to rifles if things ever go south, home defense, you name it. I'm primarily an AR guy. I have owned AKs in the past, used them, and I'll state right up front, I love AKs. 7.62, 5.45, I love them. If you get a good quality AK, you've got a fine weapon that will, serve you well in the roles that it's intended to do in defense of you and your friends and loved ones and family, etc. Provided you do your part, and your part is to learn it, train with it, practice with it, etc. That said, I'm primarily an AR guy. One of the reasons for that is I've just got so many years of using AR-15s in one form, fashion, or another, shooting them, handling them, etc., that the guns are just second nature to me. I'm far more familiar with them as far as years of use and thousands of rounds through them than I am AKs. I would pick up an AK and use it in a heartbeat if I had to, and wouldn't blink. But I'm just an AR guy. I don't care which one's your preference. I'll go ahead and state up front, it's my positions that all arguments on both of them are complete bovine fecal matter. We're not even going to get into that. AKs run, they run good if you get a good one. If you get a bad one, they're going to suck. I've worked on and seen plenty of bad AKs. They're far more accurate than a lot of people give them credit for, and they are not quite as reliable as some people purport them to be. No more so than anything else. Ditto the AR-15. They're more reliable than what a lot of people give them credit for, and they're not the super precision lasers that some people purport them to be. Honestly, I find ARs and AKs to be really right about on the same level playing field as far as reliability and accuracy. The difference is the manual of arms and how you operate them. Two different guns, two different ways of operating it. Learn how to use whichever one it is that you choose to go with. So, enough about all that. Just want to get that out of the way up front where we stand. AR pistol. I wanted something that was more compact than one of my carbines and rifles. That would be easier to manipulate in a vehicle, and primarily to store in a vehicle. By store, I don't mean leave it like 24/7, 365, but like that I could throw in a bag and have in it with me if I, go across town or something. Or most pickup trucks, mine included, have got various little places you can hide and store stuff in them. So I wanted something that was just easier to do that with. So my choices were either an AR pistol or to do an SBR. I thought about doing the SBR, and what led me to the pistol over the SBR is I didn't want to have to wait right now on the paperwork for the SBR, and I knew that I could go ahead and build the pistol and employ this as a pistol, and then in the meantime I could do SBR paperwork if I wanted to, and then still be using it until I got the SBR paperwork back. So that said, this is a pistol. Now this isn't a stock, this is one of the Shockwave Technologies blade braces. It's a stabilizing brace for pistol. I probably ought to stop right there and say this up front, because I'm not even going to entertain it in the comments. So consider yourself forewarned. Don't even bother. Right now, the right or wrong, like it or not, the common interpretation is that you can have this on as an arm brace or as a cheek rest, but you cannot shoulder it. Okay? Like it, don't like it, agree with it, don't agree with it, whatever. That's just what the common thought is. Legally, the interpretation is that you're not supposed to do that. So, I'm not advising you what to do one way or the other. You make your own choice and own decision. For me, I like to avoid trouble for now. So when I use this, I'm using this more as a cheek rest and not shouldering it. And I'll get into a little bit on that in a minute about the way this runs. So enough said on that. We're not even going to talk about whether it should be, shouldn't be. I agree it shouldn't be, but it is what it is, so let's move on. We'll start at the back end and go forward. Shockwave blade brace. There are also a number of other options if you want to build a pistol. You can get the common SIG brace. And I think there's somebody else making one similar to the SIG brace as well. Or you can just run a tube with a piece of foam over it for a cheek rest. There's also the Thornton cheek adapter. So you got a couple of different options there as far as how you want to set the receiver extension, aka buffer tube, up for your cheek rest. Moving forward, strip lower that I picked up from a friend who's a local FFL. He gave it to me at a steal of a price that I couldn't pass up. So I grabbed that some time ago. Been sitting on it for a while and try to figure out what to do with it, and finally did this. So that's another part of my point for this video, is to show that even if you're on a budget, you can piece you a weapon together, be it a pistol, carbine, rifle, whatever, a piece at a time if you need to. First thing, go get you a strip lower. That's all you got to do. Then you can go from there. So strip lower. I'm going to give a few plugs in this video too as we go. The lower parts kit is a Palmetto State Armory lower parts kit. I've used Palmetto State Armory stuff in the past. Been using their stuff since about 2012, and honestly, I have never had a problem with anything that I've gotten from them, and neither has one of my best friends. Let's see. Obviously, Magpul, Mo Grip, PMag. The charging handle and bolt carrier group is a Palmetto State Armory charging handle and bolt carrier group. The upper receiver is a complete Palmetto State Armory upper receiver. Upper, barrel, all that good stuff. Now, I want to touch on something right there. This particular barrel, this is an 11.5-inch barrel. I've long been a advocate of using a chrome line barrel. Still am. The benefits of a good chrome line barrel, in my opinion, far outweigh the negatives, few though they are, that a chrome line barrel has. That all said, this barrel is not chrome lined. This barrel is a melanite treated barrel. I don't know all the scientific stuff about it. All I know is what I've read and people I've talked to. Melanite is a treatment that they do to the bore and chamber, hardens the steel, makes it corrosion resistant supposedly, all that good stuff. On paper, I'm reading and told it's supposed to be as good or better than chrome lining without any of the negatives of chrome lining. We'll see. That said, I went ahead and got this one because the price was too good to pass up at the time. And my thoughts were, you know what, I want to go ahead and get this thing built and running. If I don't like the barrel, if it doesn't work, swapping out the barrel down the road's, easy enough to do. So, Palmetto State Armory melanited 11.5-inch barrel. This is the Magpul Mo SL, the slimline hand grip on here, or forearm, sorry. And then I had an extra Daniel Defense flash suppressor laying around, so I threw that on there just because I really like the Daniel Defense flash suppressors. Magpul Mo rear sight. Again, not getting really high end with the parts on this because I just wanted this to be a gun that I could toss around, beat around. I'm not trying to, shoot dime-sized groups at 1,000 yards with it. A lot of people are torn, I guess, on Palmetto State Armory's stuff. I see people commenting and posting and stuff where they love them or they hate them. And my thing is, with as much stuff from Palmetto State Armory as I've owned, and I bought every piece on here. They haven't given me anything. They don't even know I mentioned them as far as I know. They don't even know I exist, other than they got my name on a custom order somewhere. But everything that I've had over the years from Palmetto State Armory has worked and has worked for me as good and just the same as some much, or what's considered much higher end stuff. Not knocking the higher end stuff, it works great, but I see guys saying that Palmetto State Armory stuff's crap, and my point in bringing this up to you is, in my experience, it's not, and in my experience, you can get a lot of bang for your buck if you get something with Palmetto State Armory. It doesn't have the big flashy name on it, but it's solid equipment and it works. And that's one of the points I wanted to get across in this video, is you don't have to spend, $1,500 to get a decent gun, be it a pistol, carbine, whatever. And for an AR-15, you can put together a decent AR-15 for around $600, give or take. I don't know exactly how much I've gotten in this one. I honestly haven't sat down and priced it all out. But one of my best friends, same time I was building this, for a few years now, he's been putting together a rifle. And we got him almost the exact same setup, only in a 16-inch carbine configuration, because he wanted to get carbine done before he did a pistol. Again, we went with a 16-inch Palmetto State Armory melanite treated barrel on his. So we've got two new current platforms to test, and as we get more rounds through them, I'm definitely going to report back to you guys, because I want to tell you, if it ends up sucking, I want to know. I want y'all to know. But if it works, I want you to know, so that those of you that might be on a budget can, hey, you know what, you can go have something good and not have to break the bank. So that said, the last piece on this little puzzle, for an optic, I just put a little mini red dot sight on here, and this one is a newer Primary Arms micro dot. I like iron sights. I've been running iron sights since I was probably 6 years old. My dad first taught me how to shoot. Not as young as I once was. I've still got 20/15 vision, but even that's not as good as what I personally once had eyesight-wise. I like running a red dot just for the speed and simplicity of it. That said, I can still use irons. Again, if you're on a budget, do not feel like you have to have a red dot sight. You can put together a gun with iron sights on it and be just fine, okay? You can. It goes against the grain to say that, and I know there's plenty of people that are going to argue that, but guys, you can. Run that gun, and then if you get the money and you want to add a red dot sight or whatever kind of sight to your gun, you can. But on a budget, run it with iron sights and you're good to go. It'll work. I'm a long-time aim point user, so I hope this doesn't come across as blasphemous or slaying anybody's sacred cows, but I love aim points. I absolutely thoroughly do. However, I'll be honest, being on the budget that I'm on, God knows it took me long enough to build this. This was years in the making, by the way. This wasn't a 1 week build. This has been coming for me for years. This Primary Arms red dot and their current generation of sights, for 90+% of true armed prepared citizens, survivalists, preppers, etc., I think the Primary Arms is the way to go. Now, if you want something that's absolutely, as close as you can get to being able to survive, thermonuclear explosion, get an aim point. They are ridiculously tough, ridiculously good sights. absolutely nothing but love for aim points. At the same time, you're on a budget, but you want an effective weapon to defend yourself with, an effective sight on it. Look at the primary arms. For the money, I think it does probably 90% of what an aim point will do for us, armed prepared citizens. I think it'll do 90% of what we want it to do compared to an aim point. I love it. Big fans. Way to go, primary arms. And this isn't my first primary arms sight. I've got an older one that's on one of my wife's guns that she's had on it for, geez, 6 or 7 years maybe. I done lost track now. That is still running strong and works great. So that all said, that's kind of my build on this pistol, how I put it together. Again, this is going to be a truck gun. It's going to be when I just want something compact and lightweight. I will do a separate video getting in more to the theory and concept behind that, because this one's already drug on longer than I wanted it to. So something for you guys to look forward to. These are some videos that are on my list I can check off and get done while I'm waiting for the doctor to get me all healed up so I can get back out yonder where I really want to be at, because that's driving me bonkers, not being able to get out and train. So close it out. I got out yesterday, was able to shoot this for a bit. Initial range report. I didn't put a couple thousand rounds through it yet. However, I did get got a few magazines full through it, and I am happy to report that I was beyond pleased and pleasantly surprised with both the accuracy and function. This gun was way more accurate than I expected it to be, and function was absolutely 100% flawless. Again, I do not have a high round count through it yet, so don't go making any judgments on that yet. However, every round that I put through it yesterday fired and functioned 100%. So I am pleasantly pleased with how this one has started off. Big props to both Palmetto State Armory and Primary Arms. Guys, if you're on a budget, that's two of the first places I would go to as far as looking to set you up a gun right now. Like I said, one of my best friends has got one that I just helped him build. It's a carbine. Unfortunately, he couldn't go with me yesterday. He had some obligations. But as soon as I can get out with him, we intend to get as many rounds as we can through his and mine, and maybe compare it to a couple of others that we've got. And my hopes are that we can continue to report positive things to you guys, and you'll be able to make a decision if this is something you're on the fence making a decision about. You can have a good gun without breaking the bank. Again, I think I've probably got, not counting the sight, just the gun, I want to say probably between $500 and $600 in this gun. And if I had to guess, I think my buddy's got about the same in his carbine. So again, I think that puts it in a lot more accessible range for a lot of folks than, say, a $1,000, $1,500 gun. Just saying. So that's my little pistol build. That's the short and sweet on it, though this video hadn't been overly short. Sorry about the long video, but hopefully, like with all of them that you've watched of mine, you already got you a cup of coffee before you started. Smart people. See, I got mine right here, because I even have to have coffee for myself, if you can believe that. Although this cup's about empty, and that's a problem that we got to go rectify. So, this is my Palmetto State Armory build that I did. I'm loving this little pistol so far. The next video that I give you on this will get into more my theories behind it, how I will intend to employ it and use it, and my thoughts on having a pistol. But right now, I can go ahead and say, I think having a good pistol after you've already got a good carbine is a good idea that gives you a lot of options. So, I'm going to shut up now and let you guys get back to doing something more productive with your day besides just listening to me ramble. Take care, stay safe, keep repairing, and we'll talk to you in the next one, guys. See ya.